Congregations in the United States of all faiths, of all traditions, are really facing a pivotal moment in their lives.
Fewer and fewer people, especially people under the age of 40, are involved in organized religion of any kind.
At the same time, the buildings are aging.
And a lot of these historic churches tend to come up against that and eventually may close their doors or sell the building and move to another location.
Having a church in your neighborhood, especially in this city where so many churches are getting turned into condominiums and apartment buildings, I mean, having a church that's actually a church is so meaningful, in that this is a space for everybody.
These buildings are remarkable repositories of Tiffany glass and murals and mosaics and sculpture, and they have amazing spaces and incredible acoustics, and they define our streetscapes. They're the legacy that we've left of all that investment over time.
The building is breathtaking, and I think when you're here and when you're in the sanctuary and praying with the stained glass windows, you really do feel the presence of God.
As an architect, I feel strongly that sacred places are important sources of social capital as well as cultural capital.
This church is an important part of the history of Chicago, and part of that is the beautiful art and architecture here, as well as the good works of the church and the people who worship here.
Partners for Sacred Places is the only national nonprofit that works with congregations and their communities to take care of and make the most of older religious properties all around the country, both for their cultural value but also for the value they bring to serve people in need.
We care about three things. One is congregational health. The second is neighborhood health. And the third is the building. Partners is the only group that can help a congregation who value all three of those aspects.
And Partners for Sacred Places is really helpful for congregations to think about stewarding and using those buildings in new ways, and to help communities see that these places are really social and public infrastructure.
That really demonstrates how these places are used and who they serve, and really demonstrated the larger value, the halo effect that sacred places bring.
We also did an economic study, they call it the halo effect, to see what would happen to the west side of South Bend if, God forbid, our church failed and we had to close down. Just on those figures, it's $2.7 million a year.
We were really having a huge impact in what we're doing in our ministry, the ways that we're opening up our building, and the ways that we're partnering.
I think they have helped us understand the value that we provide to the community.
It has this huge rippling effect across our neighborhood and across the city.
The research, the advocacy, all of that, I think has put religious property owners in a better position in 2023 than we might have been otherwise without it.
We now have grant support for our National Fund for Sacred Places, which is really the only fund of its kind that serves a broad array of denominational traditions and makes major grants.
We were recently awarded a grant from the National Fund. Getting that award gives our church and gives our capital campaign instant credibility.
My church attends here. We use the building for our services here at Calvary Building. Partners for Sacred Places is an organization that has helped with a grant, a large grant to help rehabilitate this building.
We're also helping them to be able to raise their own money through our consulting arm, through feasibility studies, and give them the ability that they can do it on their own with their own resources.
They were able to, I think, open our eyes to what is that untapped potential in the community, in the state, in the city, in the nation that you can really tap into.
It's amazing that that partners recognize this need of adaptive reuse of these buildings when they did.
I hadn't really thought about how the building sits empty for most of the week, except for that hour or two on Sunday morning. So through this program, we really did spend a lot of time looking at sort of the nooks and crannies around our properties that maybe we didn't use but could be useful to other organizations or other businesses or service groups.
Partners has been the most helpful of all of the partners that we have had, and for the longest period of time. They've been with us from the beginning, and they're still with us now.
And with help and insight from Partners for Sacred Places that have helped us not only kind of maintain the building, but to really envision what Calvary might look like as a fully integrated community space.
As a person running a nonprofit serving youth, the ability to have an affordable space where we can offer lots of different arts and other leadership activities is really invaluable in this neighborhood.
So I started off as a camper, went through the ranks of a junior counselor, full-time counselor, and then now this year I serve as administrative staff. And we do a lot of programming here in this building. So I appreciate Calvary for all the gems that it has to offer.
We all, in our different ways, bring this area and this community together. Our audiences are right from this community, and they love the idea that they can walk to a theater that they feel gives them a quality theater experience, and it's in their backyard.
The main plan that we're working on is turning this into a cultural space, in addition to a prayer space. Partners came in with a process and a guiding hand, and they really helped us walk through our future and envision what that future should look like.
We're at a really exciting point where we're reimagining our entire space. What can it do for us? How can we change it to better meet our values and our mission?
One thing that we can offer people is space, and that's quite an asset in a city where things are getting so expensive and difficult and people are getting priced out.
ProMusica is a nonprofit providing music education to marginalized communities. Wicker Park Lutheran Church was the perfect place. It's a wonderful gift and a blessing that the congregation has allowed us to have these lessons here.
We decided to partner with Wicker Park Lutheran Church because we knew that the rent would be affordable, which would allow us to keep our programming costs low, and that allows us to have a very diverse group of kids come to our summer camp program.
What I found as a priest and as a bishop now overseeing 47 congregations in central and southern Indiana is that I have another partner in Partners, literally, to help us do the work that we're called to do in all the 47 different ways in which those challenges show up.
I think that what Partners is doing is so vitally important to the preservation of our national heritage.
Partners has helped us take some of those dreams and ideas and start the process of solidifying it so that we're actually moving towards a project.
Partners will help them to release that hold on the past and look at the present and be able to project who they are into the future.
I think Partners is creative and innovative and imbues a sense of hope that I think we need.
They have such a practical and impactful mission.
We come with a deep understanding and a deep love of all of these sacred places in our society today. And so that's why I would encourage sacred places of all kinds to seek us out and come and talk to us and see what we might do.